All right, let's just double check this works. We are live. Hello, everybody. If you are here already, I don't know if anybody's gotten the
No,
first.
they can't be here that fast, surely.
I'm not sure. Ah, yep, there we go. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an excellent episode for you this evening. We have some we have some great West Tigers themed content coming straight into your veins this evening. Um, we are going to try to find a very unique way to get ourselves a rights ban like last time. This time, not with Wicked Game, but we've got some other enjoyable content. Um, any news coming out of the West Tigers today, Jared? Or are we just here to, preview this upcoming contest?
Ooh, it's hard to say, isn't it? Uh, I don't know. Have you heard anything?
I mean, the latest I heard was that Adam Dewey got off in the clear.
Yes, actually, I did hear that.
Yeah, so he'll be right to play this weekend, right?
Yes, I would think so. Let's. I think it's just about time to kick off. What do you think? I think we've
Yeah,
got
let's go.
a few people here now. I'll just refresh the West Tigers TV page. Oh, there we go. We've got 16 people watching. So thank you.
Whoa!
There we go. A lot of people watching tonight. Everybody,
Why?
this episode is adequately titled Hotel Corridora, Middle Corridora,
Middle
rather.
corridor.
Middle Corridora. And I would like to explain to you why. In my Merc on the M8, need a hair transplant. Pull up into Concord, and I see Coach Bench. Up ahead in the distance is that cuck named Blue Eye. At the judiciary I did so win. Bring on Saturday night. Benji stood in the doorway. I couldn't really tell whether he planned to start Javon or just simply to give him a spell. He dragged me into his office and I said no way. He told me I'd be playing lock. Thought I heard him say, welcome to the Middle Corridora. I fucking hate that place. Benji's a disgrace. I won't be playing through the Middle Corridora. I won't be here next year. I'll make that fucking clear.
Right. I didn't even know you were a musician.
Well, now you do.
You know
And
what-
that was written by Adam Dewey.
You know what's interesting is that like coincidentally, I actually wrote my own parody cover of Hotel California.
Did you? Oh, I'm going to post my lyrics into the live chat for everybody.
Yeah, my one's called "Welcome to the Bottom Fourer," but you stole my thunder, so maybe next week I'll play that. But anyway,
Just
big day here at West Tigers Faithful.
indeed.
And
Big day.
who's asking, I don't know whose mask this is.
Mate, Mac just said that your mic's very quiet. You might have to turn it up.
I might have to just get a little bit closer to the old. How you going? How's that?
I think that's better. I think our wonderful audience will tell us. But welcome to the Middle Corridor, Adam Dewey. And obviously he's not consented to it too much. I find this objectively fucking hilarious. Probably because we're so conditioned that realistically, nothing really bothers us anymore, and things are quite funny. I don't even know what to say. What do you?
Jared, I'm optimistic. I think that this is a, I think that Benji Marshall's pulled the right rein. Personally, I think, you know, uh, it shows strong leadership to make a decision like this. You know, it's hard for me to go 1 week saying I'd pick Javon Andrews and stick with him for the rest of his natural born life, and then complain about Benji Marshall picking Javon Andrews. Like, that would make me a raging hypocrite, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
But then again, actually, now that I think about it, he's left Jerome Luai in the side and dropped Adam Dewey. Like, I don't know what he was thinking. Oh, you know what? Fuck this. I can't take this shit anymore.
Fuck. Well, I might share what I think. I think that there's no right person in this. It's just ridiculous. Like, let's face it. Oh, just really quickly to those listening on Spotify after everything, he's just put a Dolphins jersey on, for the record. How do I feel about this?
My Tigers jersey off and revealed a Dolphins jersey was underneath the entire time, including my 2 coveted fins up. Now obscuring my West Tigers memorabilia. It was destined to be this way.
Elite. Look, I just every way I look at it, it wasn't right. I don't think, as you say, Benji was. We're debuting Javon Andrews. Javon Andrews is a very left-sided player. I've really only ever seen him play on the left the same way that Jerome Luai exclusively pretty much plays on the left. And for that reason, you know, I'm a little bit perplexed by what he had in mind, particularly when, according to the Daily Telegraph, the plan was for Dewey to defend on the right edge. So who was going to defend in the middle? I'm not really sure, but you can tell I really haven't done my homework because realistically, I don't really give a shit.
Mate, we literally just did this podcast so that we could do those 2 gags. We might as well just leave. Like, we're done here. Actually, that's not true. I have another gag. I was brushing up on my rugby league rivalries, and I was flicking.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I was flicking through, and I got to page 374. And it was an interesting page. It's West Tigers versus the West Tigers. And it's interesting. It's fascinating when you track the history of the West Tigers versus the West Tigers. There's been some great West Tigers, conquering West Tigers moments throughout the course of the Tigers' history. There's Tigers versus Tim Sheens. There's Tigers versus Grant Mayer. There's Tigers versus Warren McDonald, Tigers versus Mitchell Moses, Tigers versus Luke Brooks, Tigers versus Lachlan Galvin, Tigers versus Ivan Cleary, Tigers versus Michael Potter, Tigers versus Robbie Farah, Tigers versus Benji Marshall versus Robbie Farah. We are our greatest rival. And this is just another episode in Rugby League Rivalries, West Tigers versus West Tigers.
Here we stand yet again.
Here we do stand. You know what though? This is the West Tigers Faithful podcast, and I think Javon Andrews is going to come out and put on 4 try assists.
What side is he going to play? Is he going to play left edge, or is Luai going to move?
I think Javon Andrews is going to play a 360-degree game of rugby league, the likes of which we've never seen. He's going to redefine football. He's going to score tries by running the opposite direction, just like the Spanish went that direction to get to India. He's going to go backwards to get forwards, up to go down, and somehow miraculously he's going to score 4 try assists.
I wouldn't put it past him, given the form he's in. He's in excellent form. So, all right, let's just get this.
Jason Taylor versus Robbie Farah. I'm sorry.
So let's get this. So let's get this version of events right. And people in the comments, if I'm wrong, please tell me if I've missed something. So Adam Dewey gets charged. He gets named in jersey, whatever, 20, let's call it. Goes to Javon Andrews, gets named in the 7. Great. Jerome Luai at 6. Latu Fainu and Adam Dewey go to the judiciary. Adam gets off. Latu misses 3 games.
Which,
then,
I mean, we knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of us wanted the opposite. I think I was actually on record saying that. I wanted to see Lars get a bit of time at 7.
I'm not saying we didn't want the opposite. I'm just saying we're the West Tigers. It was going to happen that way. It is what it is.
Okay, yes. So then, Dewey was on SEN. Yeah, he was on SEN the day after with Andrew Voss for 20 minutes, and I listened to it. And he ran through the whole judicial thing and then basically said, we'll wait and see what Benji has in store in terms of what was planned. He talks about, the breaking of the Luai news and that realistically, they're all grown men and they dealt with it and they moved on. He's talking about how tough it is at the moment and how they're working really hard to find solutions. And he mentions that Javon's pretty silky, he's pretty tall, gives him a good rap, whatever. So then that was yesterday, and then yesterday morning, Tigers always have their day off on Wednesday, unless they're playing Thursday and they have captain's run. Thursday rolls around, it's dead quiet, and typically in Tigers land, Thursday is the big day. That's, full contact for a little while, running through the game plan, executing. We hear nothing until, 3, 4 in the afternoon. And as far as we're aware, Dewey's had a blow up with Marshall in a meeting, an article that he has clearly leaked. With all due respect, Adam, come on, the way that it reads was clearly, obviously, something that you had written or had commissioned. And then so we hear that Sean gets out in front of it, said, "Yep, he's taking a period of absence away he goes." And then we get a Ricky O op-ed, which is basically implying that there's more than meets the eye, which chances are there is, and I'm pretty sure everybody can put together what it is, in the sense of he believes that because Jerome Luai's going out the door next year, that realistically Jerome should be the one to make way. And he has a point. But all of this to say, he's decided to let his teammates down and his club down and the fans down, who hurt more than anyone else in this, and refuses to play, pulls himself out, does laps around the centre of mediocrity until he runs out of gas, and then he goes home and he's officially on annual leave. I do not get it. This is a bloke, right, that has had so many knee reconstructions. We'll get to Benji Marshall. Benji Marshall is at fault too. We'll get to that. Adam Dewey has had more knee reconstructions than I've had hot dinners. At the moment, he's playing with a bung shoulder, and realistically, he would know better than anyone else. Every single game is a milestone. Getting on the field is a reminder of how far he's been in the journey he's taken. Actions like this imply to me that Adam has potentially forgotten that. That realistically, he, the only seeing himself as a half, the attitude 12 months ago was, I'll play wherever I need, to benefit the team. That's now disappeared. What, Adam, what on earth? The thing is that we had to make change. And I can understand his frustration around Jerome. But the thing is that, out of the three of them, he's the best equipped to play through the middle corridor. Right. He is. Right. And he can still kick the football. He can organise from there, as you saw it with Latu did. But the biggest point is that we had to do something. And this is what it was. This is what he chose to do. And look, I agree with people. Jerome Luai should have been wearing the 14 jersey. He should have been. But this is the call that Benji made. And if we're gonna pander team first attitudes and ideologies, then realistically, Adam, mate, you have to do what is required. We have, sorry, Mac, I'll give you the space in a sec. We have players who are injured. Adam is one himself. He would understand the sacrifices that are being made in this squad. There are blokes playing long minutes that realistically cannot do it anymore because they're being put together by tissue and spit. You had guys like Taylor May, that were playing until the wheels fell off. It is the end of the year where everybody is carrying niggling injuries, and then we've got a bloke that's actually just pulled himself out of the game simply because he's playing in a different position. How's that going to go down with your teammates?
Probably not that much better than telling everybody you're going to be here for the next 5 years and then just signing with PNG. Let me... you're entitled to be pissed off and frustrated, and everything you say is valid, and I've had a lot of conversations.
For the record, I'm not really pissed off. It's just what? Why is this your attitude, Adam? Come on, mate. We need.
I know that, but it made for better television for me to say it the way I said it. I've been having a lot of conversations with people this afternoon, and there's kind of these two camps, right? There's the camp of Adam Dewey's entitled to be pissed off considering he's signed for 2029 and he's been playing better football this year than Jerome Luai, and he's probably more of a six, and he's like, he is playing injured, he has sacrificed, and a lot of the things that you said, towards the end of your rant there about like players making sacrifices and playing till the wheels fall off. Adam Dewey's one of those guys that's been doing that. Adam Dewey's probably sacrificed more for this club than just about anybody not named Chris Lawrence in his entire career. Like to be honest. So in that sense, like, can you give him a bad day? Right? Can we give him the grace of a bad day? Like, I know that football's played out in the media, but if this was a corporate, if this was any other business, if this was any other team, and it wasn't the West Tigers, and it wasn't, the NRL, and it wasn't celebrity bullshit, would you give a man who's been through what Adam's been through, who walks in and experiences what he experienced today, the grace of packing up his bags and going home for the day?
Okay, granted. But if he doesn't turn up to captain's run tomorrow and doesn't put his best foot forward?
Again, I'm not saying that necessarily this doesn't naturally lead to his exit from the club, but I just want to make sure that we pull short of really like vilifying the man all that much, right? We got to separate, and I'm not trying to make like I said. I understand what you were saying is also valid. Like everything that you said is valid. It is something where his team would and should probably feel pretty pissed off about, especially the other players like Api Coruscant, right, who has been through all of this and then some as the captain and has not put a foot wrong. Sort of brings me to my next point, which is that, like, imagine being Api Coruscant throughout this entire experience since he's been at the club. Like, I sat with this earlier today, and like I realized, I'm like, man, I have so much respect for that guy, right? Like, how could you not? Like, he has just toiled and just kept his wits about him. He's looked frustrated, but his form has only fallen off slightly, here or there. Like, he still shows up every week. He like goes hard when we're down. Like, that's a man. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's a. I just want to like point that out for a minute. Like, Api Coruscant really deserves to be front of mind here. While all of this mayhem's going on around him. I think that the truth of the matter is that my first reaction to this was like, Adam Dewey doing this is a joke. And I think if Adam didn't have form in this area, it probably wouldn't be so bad for me. Because what I said before, I'd probably be more entitled to be a little bit more empathetic at first. But because there was that, back in 2022, West Tiger star Adam Dewey is gutted that he's been portrayed as arrogant and selfish as private conversations were leaked. Like, obviously, he's a little bit of a sensitive man. Like, it's pretty obvious, right? He is and he always has been. Now, last year, his career was on the scrap heap, right? Last year, his career was on the scrap heap. He didn't really have a choice but to play where he was told to play if he wanted to play anywhere at all. This year, he was en route to play State of Origin. He was being called by every man and his dog the second best halfback in the NRL behind Nathan Cleary in the first 8 weeks of the comp. Imagine what that does to his mindset, right? He goes from like thinking his career's on the scrap heap to finally playing in the position that he always felt like he should have been, getting accolades and plaudits, and then he gets injured again around the exact same time that his halves mate decides to exit the club, and the whole bunch of injuries come in, and the whole season unravels. He comes back and he tries as hard as he can for 3 weeks, but he just can't do it. And then he gets dropped, and Jerome Luai is left there.
Yeah, mate, it's worth mentioning, and I definitely got on my soapbox there. He has every right to be frustrated, but I don't believe that a walkout and a pull out of a game where, look, we know that the season is gone, but as Adel, Hage has said in the past, these guys live week to week. They live and die by their processes. as long as there's a mathematical chance, they're still going to prepare as if it's must-win territory. So in that sense, I think he's let his mates down, and I think that sucks. But around the Luai stuff, he's got every right to be, frustrated again. He's got every right to be annoyed with the situation, and I'm sure that with the way that this has gone in terms of, how shit our attack is and the losing and all of that, he gets all that. And this is where Benji Marshall has to come under the spotlight. Now, we've said for a really long time, more often than not, Benji pulls the right rein. And I tend to agree there. When controversy is afoot, Benji Marshall does a really, really good job. He tends to work it out pretty well, keeps the farm calm, gets out on the front foot in the press, and tends to do a really, really good job, and tends to hold the group together. He hasn't done that here, not at all. He's not gotten this right. For me, Jerome Luai is the one that has to move. Javon is a left-sided player. Adam Dewey is a right-sided player. It makes so much sense. I know that obviously, you could argue that they are similar archetypes in the way that, their body shapes are, but realistically, they're poles apart stylistically. Adam's going to be here next year. Adam is a better long-distance kicker. There's all those parts to it, and realistically, Benji, I know he might be thinking in the back of his. Well, no, actually, no, that doesn't count for shit. I was going to say maybe he's thinking towards next year, but if you're picking Luai, then you're not. So he's completely got this wrong, and now it's completely out in the open.
Yeah, totally, man. But look, at the end of the day, this is about the fans for me. For me, I worry about the fans. I'm over the club. I know this is a gag. I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I'm losing love for the club, and the West Tigers fan base have been passionate and pushed through and had hope and had it rise and fall and dashed. And I understand why they would be frustrated and why they would be trying to find blame, whether it's to blame Luai or to blame Dewey or to blame, Benji Marshall, the Holman Barnes group. It's really the Holman Barnes group, but whoever it should be that gets all of the blame for this. But the reality is that sometimes incentives don't align. Sometimes agendas don't meet in the middle. And in a club that's been under pressure and there's been so much pain and wins are hard won, success is scarce. That happens more in a place like that than it does in a place that's successful. Because if you're in a successful place, then everybody's having a good time, right? Somebody's got to lose in a loser club, because things have to change all the time. And Adam Dewey, at the end of the day, from my perspective, if Javon Andrews hadn't emerged this year, I would be pretty content with the idea of pursuing Adam Dewey as our 6 for the next 4 years. That's how I perceive it, right? I would be pretty content with that. Latu Fainu playing 7, Adam Dewey playing 6, I'd be pretty happy. But Javon Andrews, to me, I feel like and this is probably where Benji agrees with, because he picked him ahead of Adam Dewey today. He thinks Javon Andrews is the better talent for us moving forward, and I think he is too. Where I agree with you, mate, is I don't understand why Benji Marshall has decided to ride or die with Jerome Luai. I just don't get it. I can see a fan in here in the chat who mentioned, Luai is the captain, you just don't drop the captain. But to that, I'll say, Insight Legacy, 8 weeks ago, Jerome Luai offered Benji Marshall to play him on the bench. He offered it. If Jerome Luai is a pragmatic man, he is. He's more pragmatic than the fans. Us fans, we're one-eyed, we're parochial. Jerome Luai is a pragmatic man. You can tell he's pragmatic because every decision that he makes is, what he thinks is the best decision to make at the time. He didn't say. Let's be clear. Jerome Luai didn't say, "I'm going to be at the club for life, bro," and at the time think he was signing with PNG. If you think that that's true, then your paranoia is getting to you. The opportunity came after that, and the pragmatic guy that he is, he went, shit, man, that's the opportunity, the incentives, the money, it's too good. It's too good. And a lot of people agree with him on that. But Jerome Luai is also pragmatic enough to have come out, and we all know this happened because it was Benji Marshall who said it out loud in the media that Jerome Luai offered to play on the bench back then. If Benji Marshall had have taken this to Jerome Luai and said, this week you're playing on the bench and Adam's playing 6, or Adam's playing 7 and Javon's playing 6, Luai wouldn't have kicked up the same stink Adam Dewey would have.
I'm right there with you. And the thing is as well is that Jerome is not, I think he's more happy to just suck it and see, right? Whereas Adam is very, he's very proud.
And sensitive because, mate, he has had a struggle, man.
Yeah, like, very true.
At a certain point this year, he probably was like, I'm finally going to play finals football. Origin's right there. Oh, man, this whole thing's... And now what? Now he's dropped for Jerome Luai and Javon Andrews? Give me a break. Like, I wouldn't have done what he did, I don't think, in the context of the public eye. But I've done worse in the context of my career. I've rage quit. I've literally rage quit to a CEO and walked out the door before. Like, I've done it. But, like, in that context, it's not the right decision because of what it does to you optically, and then what that does to you mentally when the whole world starts to rock around you. It's not the right thing for him to have done. So, look, man, I'm just taking the perspective on it that I don't want to be an additional source of what's about to be a really hard 24 to 48 hours, if not longer, for Adam Dewey as a man.
Very true, and that's the thing. Look. I agree with you. You shouldn't be judged on this, but the problem is that in these locker rooms, he could be judged on this. It really depends on, whether or not there's factions in the dressing room or there's things that are going on there. I'm not too sure, but just to tie this point off, Marshall made the mistake. He made a mistake in terms of he should have just played Jerome off the bench.
100%.
Look, if Latu was there and he said, look, this is, season's done, we want to start moving towards Latu and Javon right and left edge, and we want to play you through the middle as that sort of pivot at first receiver, I feel like it's more palatable. Because realistically, Jerome's being dropped and Adam is, still taking on a leadership role in an organisational position. With Jerome still there, I get why he spat chips. I get it. I don't agree with the storming out and the driving around of the centre of mediocrity for hours on end. I don't.
Is that like let's not take that as gospel, bro.
It is alleged.
Yeah, let's not take the driving around the Concorde freaking out like a crazy ex-wife thing, like as though it's legit. Like, let's just pump the brakes slightly on that. There's a lot of chatter, like a lot of great comments in the chat tonight, and there's a lot of people who and everybody's valid. I want to say that, like, we've got people in here that are pointing out, that Jerome Luai doesn't still Cosmox Eric is pointing out Jerome Luai doesn't still have a career at stake that depends on getting picked in the halves at the West Tigers, which is what I was sort of alluding to. And Greg Noyer is saying AD can apologise and all will be sweet. It happens all the time in teams, and he's right. It does. It's again, like I said last week, this stuff just takes on a different appearance when it's out at our club. It takes on a completely different appearance. And the other comment here that I want to call out is that, we've got people here who are Damian Anderson pointing out Javon as a special talent. And I think that he is. He really is. And you'd kind of have had to have been watching him play New South Wales Cup this year. It's been a very long time since I've seen a player at our club have as dominant of a season entirely in a lower grade side, especially one that is so like the New South Wales Cup side. Like he's I think he might be the best West Tigers New South Wales Cup player that I've ever seen. Like, I think he's having the best New South Wales Cup year of any West Tigers player I've ever seen. Lachlan Galvin obviously had an incredible lower grade year, but he didn't play the New South Wales Cup.
Brooksy was good. Brooksy and Mitchell Moses were good.
Did they play New South Wales Cup? I thought they went straight from SG.
Brooksy played 2013 midway through the year. He got a promotion from Toyota Cup and he brained it. And then
yeah, that's right. But that was a half.
But in saying that, like a full year of State Cup, no,
Yeah.
he's been incredible. Listen, I want to listen to something around David Riccio. Steph mentioned it, but Riccio said something about another player had spoke to Benj. I'll just listen to it. You keep chatting. One moment.
Yeah, like I think ultimately the one question I can't answer, and the the only guy I've seen try to defend this is in the chat talking about him being captain. You don't drop the captain. Like I can't justify. I can't justify why he made the decision to finally promote Javon Andrews and drop one of the two main halves and it not be Jerome. There's just such little justification for it. You know, you can even just look at it from the perspective of the footy health, because Javon Andrews is a left side dominant player. He's a second receiver. He's not a first receiver. He hasn't been playing halfback. He's been playing with the 7 on his back a lot in New South Wales Cup, but he hasn't been doing the primary kicking. That's either been Stevanovic, Fainu, or Madden on any given week. He's done a bit of kicking, but he hasn't been the main kicker really, except for the weeks he played with Mason in the halves really early in the year. It's not his strength. It's not his like bag. So to put him in the side with Jerome Luai, who has been struggling to play the main playmaker role, is like it's like not solving one of the bigger issues that we have here, which is that neither of them are Latu Fainu or Jock Madden. As I said, like neither of them are that primary, pivot. So I really find it challenging to understand it even from that perspective, much less the perspective that Jerome Luai is leaving the club. It really just reeks to me of favoritism. Like it really just reeks to me of Benji Marshall feeling like, emotionally or, like somehow obligated to that he owes it to Jerome to like see it through. And like, I kind of got that impression last week when somebody put it straight to him, which was like, is he going to be the 6th for the rest of the year? And he very aggressively went, yep. And like, that was a very immature thing to do from my perspective, because now he's, essentially he would be going back on his word if he did anything aside from that, even if it's in the best interest of the club.
Well, Luai put it out himself. Sorry, mate, I know I disappeared for a bit. Thank you for handling that. Luai actually said in his press conference ahead of the Bulldogs game, he effectively said something to the lines of, we've spoken about it. If I'm not performing, then I'll get dropped. And then Marshall backed it up similar in his press conference this week in terms of, if people aren't performing, then they won't be picked. And obviously now that's quite poignant, and it might have had something to do with Adam. But realistically, I guess at worst he's putting out mixed messages, which, it's a bit of a drama. Riccio pre-game was basically voiced his concerns around Adam's behaviour. He said that there was an unnamed player that went to Benji in the hours after Adam left, and he sort of voiced his concerns. I'm not sure who it is. He said he's not going to, sort of disrespect the player by going through it.
It would have been Corridora.
Yeah,
there's nobody else. There's nobody else at the club who would have had the. Like, it couldn't be anybody else at the club. Maybe Twal, but like, isn't Twal Mason? Do we like? It would have to be a senior player to like go out of their way to do that.
Oh, without question.
I mean, it could have been Luai, but if it was Luai, it would have got leaked, and it would have been like Barb City. It would have been.
I don't think it's him. I don't think it, and I think it's unfair to speculate. Like realistically, as I said, I think
it's fun to speculate.
I think it. I mean, yeah. Look, nonetheless, this is a really interestingly poised moment, because the thing is that look.
When is it not at the West Tigers, Jared?
Yeah, well, true, but like the thing is as well, mate, is that I think does Adam have any leverage in this situation come Monday with this meeting? Because the thing is that he's almost lost either side of the ledger, in the sense of if they lose, it's you let your brothers down. You know, we went and fucking played in the cold and we got walloped and you could have made a difference. And if they win, they go, oh, well, it's a good thing that you pulled out because we've got Javon now and we don't need you. It's like,
got life you're fine now. We don't need you.
well, that's
Considering he's playing 7.
how do you how do you approach something like that? I mean, you know, you said yourself that you know you've walked out on CEOs in the past. How do you walk back in there?
If I'm Dewey, are you asking me how I would handle this?
Yeah, I am.
If I was Adam Dewey and I'd done this and I can relate to it, so I could actually really put myself in his shoes. It would highly depend. Like I'd go home, I'd have conversations with everybody who's important to me, and I would decide whether or not I made a mistake or not. First and foremost, that would be priority one. And if I decide if I decide I don't want to basically just blow it up, right? Like, because I think genuinely there is a really big chance Adam comes in tomorrow with Isaac Moses flanking him and asks for a release. Like that is a huge possibility. That's like I'd say it's a coin flip right now, and it'll all depend on whether Isaac Moses says to him, "Yeah, nah, I got a club lined up for you already, bro." But
and that's right. Speaking objectively, he's a good fucking footballer.
I think if he comes in tomorrow and he's like, I love this club, and that's the I don't know him well enough to know. Like if a lot of the emotions may be related to the fact that he just genuinely loves the Tigers. Like he might have like a West Tigers faithful level connection to the fucking club by now. Like it wouldn't surprise me. Like, so, you know, that may be adding to the feeling of betrayal. You know, and if that's the case, he's very unlikely to ask for a release because he's very likely then to just come in and apologise. And at the end of the day, that's all he could do in that scenario. All he could do in that scenario is come in and be like, sorry, I'm very sorry, Benji, mate. You must understand that this has been a really hard year for me. And Benji Marshall will understand it. He will, because it is. It is an explainable reaction to the situation. It is,
and I think that look, Benji fucked up. We said that, and Adam fucked up too. The only people that lose from this, two people, are the playing group because we are a better team when Adam is in it, no question, and the fans. The fans will hurt from this,
as always.
You know, which is typically how it goes. I will say Benji's pretty patient. I think that for the most part, his man management is pretty good. Pretty good.
He's certainly facing with Jerome Luai.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's as untenable as some people think. Maybe even as what I thought at the beginning of the episode.
I don't either.
It is salvageable, but yes, both parties have to come to the table and be accountable.
And they'll both have to come out and talk about it on the record in public if that is what ends up happening. They'll have to.
We'll have another fucking joint presser. It'll happen again.
Yeah, it maybe or maybe not. Like it probably goes something like, you know, Adam Dewey apologizes privately. He takes a week off, gets away, comes back next week, back into the side, straight back into 6. Maybe even Jerome Luai came to the coach and put his hand up and said, "Coach, I think you should put me on the bench," and maybe next week that's what happens. You know, like it's hard to say, and you know, it's actually kind of fun now, like because I've kind of just I've realised something, which is that I just don't believe the West Tigers are ever going to be good. So I don't even like actually have any attachment to the possible future of the West Tigers being good, at least not anytime soon. So I might as well enjoy the ride and enjoy the problem solving, as I said in the last episode, like because it's just it creates opportunity for conversation. It creates opportunity for like figuring things out. Look, if I was in the club, this is my strategic mind at play here. I'm Sean Mielenkamp. At 2:00 this afternoon, I'm on the phone to Dean Young. I'm on the phone to Dean Young, and I'm saying, Dean, you guys were in for Adam earlier in the year. He's just had a blow up here. I don't think that the situation's tenable. It's obviously going to come out in the media shortly, or if not, already has. I think you guys, need a half. We need some young forwards. You've got a lot of them. What do you reckon? That's what I would do if I was Sean Mellencamp. Play the cards that you're dealt and play them correctly. I think that that's what he should do because you and I both agreed as recently as Monday afternoon that next year we should be. You said if Adam Dewey doesn't agree to a succession plan to have him out of the club, out of the 6 or 7 jersey by round 12 next year.
Yeah, I did.
That you would give him his marching orders anyway.
Yeah,
so
because mate, sorry to interrupt, but I'd hedge my bets on him. His love for the club, his passion for the jersey,
meaning that you can play him at 13 and get some value out of him as a good player. Yes, I get that.
Yeah, exactly. And like last year, he played left centre, he played right centre, he played 5'8", he played halfback. He played in the back row at one point. He played on the wing against the Warriors. Like he played everywhere. Like
that's the sacrifices that he's made for the club so far that makes him feel like he's earned the respect to not get dropped over Jerome Luai.
Okay, fair. But you don't. I mean, look again. You can forgive a mistake. You can, but the thing, as you said, is that he's got skin in the game here. He's done this before. This is the hard thing to deal with.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what it comes back to, mate. And you're seeing it in his football at the moment. It's coming down to mindset. He's losing. He's losing at the moment. This whole club is losing. We can't score points. What do you see? With all due respect, Adam, he's a wonderful footballer. But what do you see when we start losing? You see selfish Adam, the footballer. Yeah. I think now you're seeing selfish Adam, the person.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to heap shit on him. I'm just not I'm just saying, Sean Mellencamp should and needs to do business with this as a thing. Like, if you go into damage control and you just. You're basically just looking at it as a crisis meeting and you're just looking at a crisis of it and you're not looking at how you can play it to your favor, then you're just not that good at your job. It's that simple. Like, if you're in business, every fracture, every issue, every crisis, you have to figure out where the opportunity exists and exploit the opportunity. And the opportunity here is exploitable. Adam Dewey was on the radar of the Dragons. The Dragons do not have a quality half. The Dragons have heaps and heaps of young talent. We don't have good quality young forwards coming through. There is an actual incentive alignment between these two clubs right now. Dean Young's a brand new coach. He needs senior players around him that he can probably give the captaincy to. He needs to make a quality signing pretty quickly to establish his impact as a new coach. He can't go into round 1 next year and expect the Dragons to perform with Kyle Flanagan and Daniel Atkinson as the halves.
You got to remember they signed Metcalf. They've got drink water. Watson's
Drinky will play fullback, right? And Gutho's on his last leg. So
Gutho guy. Look, I like the idea. I really do like the idea. It's just
Metcalf can't even get into the bloody Warriors side this year
because he's leaving. But that's
isn't that ironic?
But that's right. That's what a good club does.
Yeah,
they said you don't want to be here. We're going to prioritise other people. Even after Tanner Boyd went down with an ACL, they still went to Murray Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita. That is a club that we should emulate, but we don't because realistically they're owned by Ortex, private ownership, and we're owned by a bunch of head cases.
We had Webster. I think. All of this for me, I could easily just sit back and just.
Can I just jump in one second really quickly? Cosmox is saying a few things. Do you really think we get rising talent from the Dragons so they don't just offload their problems? Mate, it's a two-way street. You can say yes, you can say no. The club has genuinely, I know it's really hard to see the wood for the trees right now.
You gotta ask for things. You don't get what you don't ask for.
That's right. And further, I gotta say, the club has built a decent squad. Look, the depth underneath wasn't good enough this year. We know that. But going into the beginning of the year, 12 months ago, we thought, how good's this? They're actually building, the roster underneath the 17. They'll try it again. They'll do it again. They will not pick up any shitty contracts. No one is going to pick up Valentine Holmes on 900.
No, we're talking about the Dragons not even being able to find a place in their side right now for Jacob Halangahu. Right, I'm not talking about...
Yeah, exactly. Even a bloke like fucking Nick Sagranis. You know?
They have you got to for what I said to make sense. You have to understand the Dragons roster situation. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that if I'm Sean Mielenkamp, I'm looking at this as an opportunity to speed up the succession plan. When they signed Adam Dewey, they probably knew that there was a risk that Latu Fainu and Javon Andrews would just, demand him not to be in the situation. But it's a calculated risk that you have to take at the time, because there's also a very good chance that Javon Andrews just does not kick on, that Latu Fainu just does not kick on. Well, unfortunately, Javon Andrews has demanded selection, and Latu Fainu needs to be given an opportunity. So, that's one thing that makes Sean Mielenkamp incentivized to make that work. How do you get Adam Dewey out of the club? And you got to get something in return. Just thinking about it from the business perspective, you can sit there and naysay my strategic ideas all you want, but I work in a business and do business strategy, and I get told all the time, your idea is not going to come off by people who never even try to do anything. You only make things happen if you try to make things happen. 9 out of 10 of the things I try to make happen don't happen. But the 1 out of 10 times that they do happen, there's something that people who would tell me that my ideas suck would have never even tried in the first place, right? That's what separates somebody who knows what they're doing from a business perspective from people who just sit around telling themselves that they're never going to amount to anything. No offense. That's just the fucking facts of the matter. At the end of the day, I don't want to come across like an egotistical dickhead, but I'm the person who, the minute Jerome Luai announced he was signing with PNG, came out publicly and said he needs to be dropped right now. And if that had happened back then, we wouldn't even be in this mess. So nobody should be really questioning my judgment on any fucking subject, to be honest.
Well, there you have it. I'll be sure not to for the remainder.
You're present company excluded, Jared.
Only kidding, mate. Only kidding. No, and that's the thing. Those who have been listening for a long time, there is an element of I told you so. But at the same time, we have a very educated, very understanding, very high IQ audience that does see things in a similar manner to
I love the fans. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely. It's more the cesspit on X away from West Tigers fans. Look, I don't really have much more to say on the Dewey situation. For me, it's just we're gonna have to see how it turns up on Monday. They're gonna have to deal with a shitstorm. There's gonna be cameras everywhere at Captain's Run tomorrow. Good luck to them. There is going to be scrutiny on them the entire time. We know that this club, from the at its very core, does not deal with resilience very well. I expect a poor result. But we will talk about that game in a moment. Do you have anything else to say on the Adam Dewey matter?
Nah, man. I think at the end of the day, I've said everything that I need to say. I think I'd really just love to. I need some reconciliation as to what Benji Marshall's true justification is for picking Jerome Luai over Adam Dewey. That's what it comes down to for me. And
I don't think we'll ever get it. He's so cagey with the media. It might leak via various channels. You might see Sean get on the front foot on Triple M, sort of Saturday morning, maybe.
See, this is the problem that I was alluding to earlier in the week, Jared. This is when I said that we have this problem at the West Tigers where the people around the club don't admit, out loud. It means Sean Mielenkamp gets on the front foot, as you say, and he comes out with some sort of politically framed explanation. And those politically framed explanations, everybody can tell are politically framed explanations, and everybody can tell that they're just being manipulated, and everybody can tell that they're just trying to hide things. And then that creates insecurity everywhere. Because nobody can actually admit the truth. Nobody can actually finally admit the truth and deal with the root cause of the problem while ever that behavior is permitted at the club. Us as fans we got to start calling every piece of bullshit propaganda out for what it is. I'm sure Benji Marshall has a justification in his mind that he feels is rational and reasonable. He needs to trust that the rest of the world would actually agree with him. And us as fans and us as human beings need to also start trying to take information like that in good faith when it's given to us and trust our own instincts when it comes to how we actually receive that information.
Agree with you. And this is the thing, Sean Mielenkamp is doing a really, really good job in terms of doing the rounds. And this is a guy that has given 10 free party bus tickets to my mates, the Pie Hill boys, to get on a party bus to go down to Canberra on the weekend. This is a guy that is in touch with the fans. He understands that at the end of the day, the fans are, the most precious commodity of this club because, we're the cockroaches. We can't be fucking killed.
I don't know. Don't you get the feeling that we're like living out the like final days of the Roman Empire right now? I kind of got that vibe right now, to be honest, brother.
I don't have that. I'm not too sure. Anyway, let's move on. Raiders game. Raiders. I mean, there would have been enough.
What a week to get the Raiders, but right.
Oh, and they are in red hot form too, and
they owe us a flogging.
And us fans, the cockroaches that can't be killed, the precious commodity, were doing the Viking clap. I was one of the people that was screaming out to Canberra fans as they headed for the exits. You've seen the Tigers, now fuck off home. This is not going to go well. That is my summation. Benji Marshall has shuffled his deck. There was going to be team news regardless of what happened with Adam Dewey, but Junior Tupou returns. It's his second club debut. He's been promoted after being involved in 4 tries in state cup on the weekend. Yes, that's half the battle. Tito is in the centres again, grown. Patrick Herbert is back, albeit with a busted shoulder, grown. Tino Tavana is back. Excites me, but also worries me. We'll see which level of Tino turns up on the weekend. And then the halves pairing is 2 left-sided 5'8" in Jerome Luai and Javon Andrews, which we obviously covered extensively. The one that I'm really excited about out of all of that, obviously Javon goes without saying. We're going to talk about Javon in a little bit. Ethan Roberts on the right edge. That's a great selection. Love it. Really good call. And for a bloke his age, he's a very adventurous footballer with the ball in hand. But defensively, I think he'll do a really good job. I'm really keen to see him start, see how he handles it, and obviously that's he'll be defending Sanders' edge, and I think it'll be Hosking, who always has a good game against us. So we'll see what happens there. Bench looks whatever. Sioni's finally gone back to the middle rotation. Thank Christ. Thank you, Benji. Good call. Bunty Afoa is back. So we'll see how many 6 against he gives away. And Heath Mason, as per an exemption, is back. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. You can wax lyrical about Javon Andrews.
Oh, you're just gonna put me on the spot about Javon Andrews, right?
I feel like you've been prepared for this your entire life. I'll do 2 minutes on Javon.
No. I had other things to say.
Well, you can go there first.
I'll do Javon Andrews first, though, at your like humble request, my friend.
Thank you.
So Javon Andrews for me, I really wish that his debut in the NRL was in better circumstances, and I don't mean that in terms of the pressure that's going to be on the club is going to be feeling as a result of all of this, and the fact that we're probably going to get beaten by 80. But he's a left-sided player, and he's a second receiver, and he's played his best games this year with somebody who has been able to play that like dig-in first receiver role, even when it's been a New South Wales Cup. He has starred when Latu Finu's played 7. He played well when Ben Stevanovic was playing the dominant role as the first receiver. And in last week, he played excellently outside of Jock Madden. So I'm really, really, really frustrated that his debut is going to be partnering Jerome Luai. Very frustrated. Now, an article came out, a couple have come out now, but I can see another one here. Christian Nicolucci earlier today said that the club wanted to play like the triple trouble Adam Dewey at 13, which we've seen.
The 3-headed dog.
The 3-headed Cerberus. Yes. We've seen it before when Adam Dewey has played that role. Latu Finu's played that role. We know what that looks like, right? And in that sense, it's hard for me to imagine like which side Luai would play on and which Javon would play on in the context of Benji Marshall's thinking, because I have not seen Javon Andrews really play that much on the right. But that being said, he did have one really good try assist last week on it with a left-right cutout pass to hit Tino Tavana, who then finished really excellently. And I've seen him drift to the right more than Jerome Luai. So, yeah. So from that sense, he probably is planning on playing him on the right, but it's not playing to his strengths. It was already a pressure cooker time to debut him. Now it's off the Richter scale level pressure cooker, and now he doesn't actually even have Adam Dewey to play that 13 role, which was the plan, right? And I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, that means that Adam wasn't getting dropped. He was getting played 13. No, my understanding is that he was dropping him to the bench and then Adam was going to come on and play 13 after like 20. I don't think that the plan was for Adam Dewey to start the game and play the whole game at 13. So in that context, Adam Dewey was likely to be dropped to the bench but then play, right? So it's nuanced in that sense. On the left-hand side, Javon Andrews has been able to put on tries to back rowers, tries to centers, tries to forwards, throwing cut-out passes, fade balls, short balls. His short kicking game is insane, and he plays carefree. And over the last few weeks, he's also started to really like dominate games. So for the first part of the season, he was a little passive. But my God, his try assist to ball touches ratio must have been insane back then. Because like it would be like, where's Javon? Oh, there he is. Oh, try. Like that was what it was like earlier in the year, and now it's more like he just features almost every set in New South Wales Cup. So they figured out ways to bring him into the game, and he's really brought himself into the game too. He is. Me and Jared are both aligned. He is like the best talent at the club. I'm on record as saying I think he's got a higher ceiling than Latu Fainu, and so are you. I think it's a miracle that we've managed to like unearth this guy out of like Queensland and bring him down because like we were on the rack when losing Lachlan Galvin, who was the heir apparent, and Javon Andrews comes in and he looks like Lachlan Galvin with better skills than a goal kicker. Like, you know, that it's hard to say positive things about like the trajectory of the club considering all of the context, but like Javon Andrews, I don't want to, but look, I also want to learn my lesson. I want to like be a little bit humble in a sense, because like I think that myself, especially, you know, we have some listeners, people do follow us, and like, so we have some responsibility when it comes to like managing the fan base's expectations, and I think that so does everybody. But like, I don't think we did Lachlan Galvin any favors the way we talked about him. I don't think that we've done anybody any favors when we hyped him up too much. I don't think that the club like it. So from that perspective, like I appreciate that Benji Marshall has been patient with Javon Andrews. I appreciate it, and I think wanted him to play all year in New South Wales Cup for that reason. It's just hard not to get excited.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm very excited by what he will bring. Obviously, I'm not too sure with the tools that he has at his disposal. I mean, Tito playing at centre, I have my doubts, but that you never know. You had, and I apologise if you've forgotten them, you said you had some points around sort of the team list and the way we might...
Yeah, I think that... I quite like... I mean, I wish Benji Marshall had just dropped Luai, because if he dropped Luai, he probably pulled almost every correct rain. You know what I mean? Like, because we needed to drop Tar. We needed to drop Skelton. These were decisions that I wanted him to make, and he made them. Well, a little bit. I know people are pretty sour on Patrick Herbert, but I mean, for a bloke that we signed out of fucking nowhere, he's had a pretty good year when he's been on the field, to be honest. He scored a couple of good tries, put on some good hits. He certainly played better than Strathfield Toa by orders of magnitude, brother. Come on. Like, let's be real here. And Tino Tavana is somebody we've been calling for being reselected because we haven't been able to score tries, right?
Yeah,
and
true.
And
like,
at least he's an aerial threat.
Fucking Skelton, the aerial experiment was horrific.
Wasn't that bananas? Like these are the things that make me. These are the things that make me like question Benji Marshall, right? Like, because it's like, bro, I'm some guy, and I can see that your halfback is kicking to the right wing, trying to like conjure tries to the right winger when you have probably the second best aerial threat in the entire NRL who is a right winger sitting on the bench, and the guy that's actually on the field is out of form, has not had a good year, isn't very good at all, and the guy that you've got on the bench you've just signed for 2 years, and you know he's the future, and the guy on the field is off contract. Like, there's just, but then he pulls the rein, right? Like, then he actually makes the move. He's just doing it like a week too late every week. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, or in the case of Luai, still hasn't really done the 9 weeks too late. But yeah, but aside from that, like, I mean, I'm I'm excited by a lot of the moves. Ethan Roberts coming into the side, I think, is good. I would have liked Charlie Murray to come in after his effort last week. Maybe maybe it would have been not a bad week to like Blood Tate or something like that. I don't know about Tupu. I mean, I think I would have picked Sakura in a heartbeat. And he's played all year on the left wing, and he's been fantastic, and he's in the top 30, and he deserves it. I think it obviously just signals that he's just out of like the picture. Right? He's just not going to be here next year. Otherwise, he would have been picked. Like and Junior Tupu just would not be in the.
Yeah, I'm with you. He must have signed somewhere else. There's some whispers that he's signed with the Eagles. I don't know how much of that is true, but yeah, there's something that's happened there. But look, if nothing else, Marshall's shown he's not afraid to make a big decision, rightly or wrongly. So we'll see where it lands. But
yeah, I asked for balls. My God, did he show some?
Yeah, yeah. He's got massive cojones, and he's shown it time and time again this year. And he's made some tough decisions.
I just want to go on the record, and I'll say out loud, any implication that I leveled at Benji Marshall on Monday that he doesn't have the balls to make strong decisions, I was wrong. I probably already was wrong. I probably didn't need this evidence because he's made a lot of them. It's more around. I think Benji Marshall he's playing favourites, man. There's no two ways about it. There's a couple of relationships that he's putting above the club's best interests. It feels like, and I'm sorry if that's not the case. I'd just love to hear what the real reason is if that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Raiders in red hot form. Obviously, Hudson Young and Owen Paddy both out of the side, which that's a plus for us. But look, there's still. I mean, Sasangi didn't play when we played him last time. Jed Stewart is one of those reserve grade caliber blokes that has an absolute cracking game whenever we play them. Strange is killing it. Sanders is waking up a little bit. Down in the nation's capital, this is going to be a tough old game. We'll see how the boys fare. Would love to see a result. Don't know if we'll get one. We will await with bated breath.
Mate, if we win this game, one of two things has happened. Right? One of two things has happened. The Raiders have played the worst game of football in the history of the NRL. Or absolute miracle has been performed. If the Raiders show up and actually put a 70% level Raiders performance on the park, they beat us. If they show up and put a 90% on the park, they should towel us up. If they have their game of the season, it could be 80, Jared.
Yeah, it could. You saw what they did to Canterbury the other week, and you saw what Canterbury did to us. So
if the Raiders show up in red hot form and we win, it would be the great. And so I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying, like, if that happens, it would be this, the second time in the same season the West Tigers have had the greatest performance in their career, in their history. And that's how the guys need to look at it like that. You can make history this week, gents. You can. Because nobody thinks you're going to win. Not even the West Tigers faithful. McDougall has picked you every week this week, and he thinks you're going to lose by 80. So, maybe this is the week to
shape up.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, like, maybe me tipping against them is an omen that they might win. Hasn't been very good.
We'll see.
Look, how could we possibly win? At the end of the day, maybe the answer here lies in the fact that Adam Doueihi pulling himself out of the side means that Benji's going to have to find another. Like, he's going to have to readjust his plan, right? Because he's going to have to. If his plan was to go with the triple trouble attack, he's going to have to figure out what to do now without Doueihi. So it might mean Jock Madden comes back into the side, right, and ends up playing 7. And if they do that, then they might get back to just doing the thing that can win them games, which is digging into the line hard, expansive shape out the back, Jerome Luai going bananas with Parkinson's, and Javon Andrews doing his thing off the back of it, right? Like there is pathways to winning here. Defensively, I don't know, man. Right? I think defensively, they've removed Toa, they've removed Skeleton, they've removed
Marcy.
They've removed Marcy, they've removed whoever was playing right back row last week before Roberts came on, and we definitely firmed up when Roberts came on, right?
Yeah.
So put a jersey in front of the Canberra players, hit them, right? That's one thing Patrick Herbert's good for, is he will come up and smash a bloke. He thumps, man. So, if we see some more impact, if Torley's as angry as he was last week, Terrell May shows up and actually goes to war. Maybe we need to get him on some cocaine or something before the game. I don't know. Certainly he needs to not stay up late the night before playing Call of Duty or whatever he plays. Get a good night's sleep, my friend. Rack 6 lines the morning of and get to work, my brother.
There you have it. Make history and snort lines, boys.
Good episode, Jared. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I hope it cheered you up a little bit, because I know a lot of fans are obviously beyond frustrated. But look, man, we're not the West Tigers. We're just fans. We got to go to work tomorrow. We got lives. West Tigers are actually inconsequential when it comes to the grand scheme of things. Remember that.
That's right. You do.
West Tigers faithful. I actually, I had one last gag. I was gonna read. I was gonna do some bibliomancy and read a random section of the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
For those, yeah. Give me some music. Just, some gentle music, right? The Supreme Lord explained that a living entity is not the material body; he is a spiritual spark, and the absolute truth is the spiritual whole. He spoke of the living entity as being part and parcel of the supreme whole, and recommended that he transfer his attention fully to the whole. Remember that next time you get frustrated about the West Tigers.
That's it. All right. See you on Monday. This was fun.